Hi students, welcome to the College Basics and Educational Planning presentation. Just to give you a heads up, during this presentation you might hear me stumble on my words or kind of pause or backtrack on my wording a little bit because I am recording this in one continuous session. So let's get started. Here's how our educational system is set up in the United States in terms of obtaining degrees and certificates. So you can see at the bottom, the bottom of the pyramid are Certificate of Achievements and Certificate of Proficiencies. So these are available here at Palomar College. What this means is if you are ready to go into employment and looking for employment sooner than later, there's some programs in our college that offer certificates, for example, automotive technology, which means you're just obtaining the courses within that program and then looking for employment. It's showing that you have some training and skills in that area. If you move up the pyramid, then what's available are associate degrees. So if you want to walk away from the community college system with a college degree, then you're going to be pursuing an associate's degree. We have associate's degrees in sciences and arts, and then this associate's degree for transfer, which I'll talk about later in the presentation, is specifically set up to get you to the Cal State system to transfer over to the university and get your bachelor's degree. If you continue up in your educational pursuits, then a lot of students are seeking to get a bachelor's degree, and that is available at the university setting. You can obtain a bachelor's degree in a variety of majors, and a lot of employment these days is seeking students that do have a minimum of a bachelor's degree. If you keep going in your educational pursuits, and it really depends on your career interests, sometimes you're in need of a master's degree. So, for example, becoming a therapist or a physical therapist or becoming an occupational therapist, oftentimes you're going to need to seek pursuing a master's degree, which is about 2 years after you finish a bachelor's degree. At the top of the pyramid is getting a PhD or doctorate. And again, there's some career fields that, again, this is the minimum. This is not always a requirement and not often a requirement. However, it really depends on your career field. Education at the university setting or sometimes working in research and labs, you need to obtain a doctorate degree. Keep in mind too, there's other professional degrees that are things like getting a law degree, going to medical school, and these are typically after you get your bachelor's. Generally speaking, the more formal education, the higher up the pyramid, the greater your income potential. But again, it's really important to do career researching because that's not always the case. Again, that's what's available here at Palomar. One of the things to be very aware of as you start college is the college catalog. So you'll see here in the right-hand corner, that's our current catalog for this academic year. It provides factual information on the college. I call it our college encyclopedia. It has everything related to our programs, our policies, our rules, certain procedures. So anything related to students that you might want to know and keep handy is available here in our catalog. It also describes our classes. So oftentimes students think, oh, if I look at the schedule, there's Art 100 and it tells me the days and times. It doesn't actually tell you what the class is going to teach you. That's available here in our catalog. This does not get mailed to you. This is available for purchase through the bookstore and it's printed once a year. It's also available on the college's website. So no need to purchase this. You can download this for free on our website, or you can always purchase it. It's always handy when you first start college to be aware of your college catalog. Sometimes have a hard copy is nice too, but again, it's available for download on our website. Other things to be aware of as you start college is how we look at time on campus in terms of our classes. So when you're considered to be a full-time student, that means you're enrolled in 12 semester units. So a lot of students come in saying that they want to take 3, 4, 5 classes and they want to be a full-time student. Well, we really look at it in terms of units. So it depends how many units you're enrolled in. If you're enrolled in 12 units, that means you're a full-time student. 1 unit means that you are equal to 1 hour of class per week. So if you're in a 1-unit class per week, you're going to be 1 hour in that class. If you're enrolled in 12 units, that means you're going to be attending class about 12 hours per week. So that's very important when you think about your schedule, is that if you're going to be a full-time student, that means you're going to be dedicated to going to class about 12 hours per week. Again, either in the classroom setting or online or a combination of both. Study time per week, usually we recommend that you're studying about 2 to 3 hours per unit. So this is a very big difference between high school and college, is that in high school, sometimes study time is built into your day, or you have the availability to do work inside the classroom. In your class, you can get work done, work on projects, and that's very different from college. That's the big discrepancy. And so a lot of high school students coming in are very surprised when they don't have that time allotted into their class period. So we recommend that if you're studying for each class or each unit that you're in, you're studying about 2 to 3 hours per week. So you can imagine that, again, if you're in 12 units and you're doubling that amount of time outside of the classroom, you should be studying about 24 hours per week during the week for your classes. Then keep in mind if you are also an employee. So a lot of students are working students, and so they are working maybe about 15 to 20 hours per week. Many of our students are working full-time, 40, 50. I met a student last week who was working 60 hours per week. So you have to really think in terms of how many units you want to be enrolled in. Do you want to be a full-time student? Maybe it's time to think about, should I be a part-time student? Should I just enroll in one class my first semester just to test and see how it goes? Because look at all the timing that you have to put in per week to your classes, to your study time, and to outside employment. This is just a handful of the programs that we offer here at Palomar. We offer a variety of things like fire technology, nursing, dental assisting. We are very well known for our ASL interpreting program. Our nursing program produces some of the greatest nurses in our community. San Diego is very, our nurses are very well known in the San Diego area for Palomar producing really great nurses. And so there's a variety of programs here on our campus that you can pursue an associate's degree. Again, we mentioned a little bit about certificates, but as I mentioned, in terms of certificates and actually the classes you'd be completing, you're completing anything from 9 to 45 units. So it really depends on the program. Some programs have more units, for example, like child development, have more classes to take in order to pursue the certificate. One of the big things to keep in mind is no general education is required when you're completing a certificate. Here's the makeup of an associate's degree. So when you're pursuing an associate's degree, you are completing courses within your major. So for example, if you're doing child development, you're going to be taking courses within the child development program. Then you're doing general education. So things like English, history, science, health and physical activity, math, the multicultural requirement. So you're doing all the general ed, plus courses in the major. And then if you need to, you'll be doing electives. So at the end of the day, you're going to be completing 60 units here at Palomar College for an associate's degree. Again, that's made up of general ed, courses in the major, and possibly electives if you need to. It prepares students for immediate employment after graduation. It requires a 2.0 GPA. This is our general education. This is our general education guide. Whoops. So you might have seen one of these if you met with a counselor. It is available online as well. And this is the guide to completing general education for an associate's degree. So I'm not going to go through each and every area of this, but keep in mind as you complete your assignment this week, it is going to be asking you some questions about general education, and what's needed and what courses are approved. For example, down here, if you are completing an associate's degree, there are some requirements for our district, as you can see here, district requirements, and one of those is health and fitness. And so in order to get an associate's degree from Palomar, you have to complete a health lecture and one of these approved PE classes. So any one of these approved PE classes, the Health 100 Lab or the kinesiology, is sufficient to completing this requirement for the associate's degree. So hopefully you've met with a counselor so you could see the differences and they can help you work through the general education guide as you plan for your classes. In order to complete courses for your major, it really depends on what you're pursuing. So here at the top, if you are completing an associate's degree, then you're going to be referring to our catalog so that you can see what are the courses needed for your program. For example, if you are completing automotive technology or graphic arts or radio and television, then you're going to be referring to our catalog to see what's needed for that program to complete your associate's degree here at Palomar. If you're transferring, you're going to be referring to a different website called assist.org. I'm going to click on this really quick. Hopefully we can get there. This website will be changing as of May this year, thank goodness. We're going to have a new Assist, and this is intended for transfer purposes. So a couple of things that you can use off of this website. I like to go to this Explore Majors tool because you can look at where the UC campuses are located in the state of California, where the Cal States are located in the state of California, and where the community colleges, they won't list them because there's 113, but the variety of community colleges that are also in the state of California. So this website is very handy, especially because it tells you the courses that you need for your major. So for example, if you wanted to go to Cal State San Marcos and you wanted to pursue computer science and you're coming from Palomar as a transfer student. So I'm connecting the two colleges, Cal State San Marcos and Palomar, and I'm going to go to the major of computer science. It will list out here on the right-hand side, and again, pay attention to the right-hand side because that's what you're doing here at Palomar. And it divides it down the middle. And this lists out the courses here at Palomar's campus that you're going to need to take prior to transferring to Cal State San Marcos. So again, it looks confusing. It looks a little archaic. Hopefully you'll meet with a counselor because they are the ones that will help you work through the courses that are needed for your major, for both the associates and for transfer, and the associate's degree for transfer. Choose a major wisely. I put a lot of emphasis on majors that are connected to your career interests. Now, you don't need to know your career offhand and what you want to do for the rest of your life, but the closer you can find what your career umbrella is going to be in the future, then we can connect it to an appropriate major. You're going to be taking the greatest number of courses in your major, along with general education for a degree program. Here are transfer possibilities if you're here at Palomar. So if you want to move on to get your bachelor's degree at some point, you're going to be pursuing a pathway of transfer. There are 23 Cal State universities in the state of California and 9 UCs. This is very important to meet with a counselor to discuss your transfer patterns or pathways and to see which one's more appropriate for you. There's a lot of options for the public universities here in California, but then we also assist with help for students who want to transfer to a private institution or out-of-state universities. So again, meet with a counselor to help discuss your pathways, what's most appropriate for you. If you are thinking of transferring to the university to get your bachelor's degree, you're going to be doing a lot of general education here at Palomar. The general education for transfer is a little bit more extensive than it is for an associate's degree. You're also going to be doing courses for your major that come from that Assist website, most likely. And then you're going to be taking, potentially you're going to be taking electives. Again, if you need the 60 units and you've taken all your general ed and you've taken all the courses for your major and you haven't reached that 60 units, then you're going to be taking some elective courses to help you get up to that 60. 60 units, transferable units, equates to junior status. So when you transfer over to a public university, the Cal State or the UC system, you are going in as a junior. So you're doing approximately half of your coursework at the community college system and half of your coursework for a bachelor's degree at the university because you're going in as a junior. Here's a little bit about the bachelor's degree pathway. It can look a little bit complex, but all you need to know is here on the left-hand side, that's what you're doing here at the community college Palomar system. You're doing your lower division, freshman, sophomore type classes between general ed and your major. And the upper division is what you're doing once you're at the university. So there's a new pathway to get over to the Cal State system called the Associate's Degree for Transfer. There's a lot of little things to keep in mind and factors to keep in mind with this Associate's Degree for Transfers. So I definitely encourage you to talk to a counselor sooner than later so that you can discuss some of your options and some of the requirements for the Associate's Degree for Transfer. One of the things to keep in mind, and I'm going to show you some of the programs that we have available for the Associate's Degree for Transfer, is that it does guarantee you admission into the Cal State system. So it's a nice thing to keep in mind. If you walk away from Palomar with an associate's degree for transfer, you are guaranteed a spot in the Cal State system with one of these majors. However, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the Cal State that you'd like to go to, but there's a lot of factors that contribute to that. So again, keep in mind talking to a counselor sooner than later. If you see one of these majors and you're thinking that that's an associate's degree you'd like to pursue, or it's a major that you'd like to pursue, and you're interested in the Cal State system. Again, this kind of comes up, the associate's degree for transfer pathway, similar to what I showed you before. 60 units that you're going to be completing here at the community college, 60 units at the university to obtain your bachelor's. These are the general education patterns for transfer. The one here on the left-hand side is specifically for the Cal State system. The one on the right-hand side is for the Cal State system as well, but it also is for the UC system, and a lot of out-of-state colleges recognize this general education pattern. So one of the things to keep in mind if you're just starting out, if you are interested in transfer and moving on from Palomar to get your bachelor's degree, but you're not sure which school system you want to go to, or if you want to go out of state, then we highly recommend following this pattern here on the right-hand side called the IGETC. The left-hand side, you can also start with as well. There are small differences between the two, but this one on the left, again, is specifically for the Cal State system. The one on the right-hand side is a little bit more restrictive in what you can take in terms of like certain categories like critical thinking. You can see here there's only a couple of courses allowed, and here there's a little bit more variety. But again, the right-hand side is for if you want to keep as many pathways open as possible, then we recommend starting with the IGETC general education pattern. One of the things, our local university is Cal State San Marcos, so many of our students are interested in transferring to Cal State San Marcos because it's our most local university. It is, there are some things to keep in mind with Cal State San Marcos. There are certain programs like business, nursing, kinesiology that are getting more and more impacted, which means they get more applicants than they have room for, and so there are things to keep in mind like having a high GPA, pursuing the associate's degree for transfer. Other things to keep in mind is if you're interested in one of the UCs, we do offer transfer admission guarantees to the UC system, except for Berkeley, UCLA, and UCSD. A lot of that guarantee is based on your GPA and the transfer GPA that you can maintain. So again, talk to a counselor to discuss your options. UCSD does have a guarantee program called University Link. Here are some of the things that you would need to have and some of the qualifications in order to qualify for the UCSD University Link Guarantee Program. On campus, we have a variety of support programs, and these again are all intended to help you as a student be successful here at Palomar. So I would encourage you to start looking at some of these programs. And again, you're going to have an assignment that's going to have you research one of these programs, because again, they're all intended to help you get engaged and just make the most of your time here at Palomar and be a support to you. Just a couple of other basics and etiquette to keep in mind as you start off your college career. Always attend the first day of class on time. As you know, our classes can get very full, and if you don't attend the first day of class on time, you are at risk for getting cut from your class or dropped from your class. If the instructor doesn't see you in attendance on the first day, they likely think that you're not going to be attending the class, and your seat can be given away. Attend class every scheduled day. However, the first day covers what is required for the rest of the semester. So make sure you know where your class is located, what campus it's located on, and attend the very first day. Also keep in mind, if you are attending class in person in a classroom setting, where you're sitting in the class. Research shows that students who sit in the first row tend to be more engaged in class. So if you can, try and sit in that first row. You're going to be more engaged, pay attention more, and ultimately probably do better. Consider things that could be distracting. Are you sitting next to the window? Are you sitting next to construction? Because there is a lot of construction that's happening on our campus sometimes, because we are renovating and building new things. Make sure the location of the clock. Are you going to stare at the clock and just look at when class is going to be over? I purposefully one time sat away, not looking at the clock, because I didn't want to look at the time go by. And so I was very conscious of where I sat. Again, are you sitting with a nice view outside? If you're in the Rancho Bernardo campus, there's a beautiful view outside the classroom windows, but I don't know how you get much attention, how you can pay attention to the class lecture, because you're looking outside at the beautiful view. Classmates around you, if they tend to talk, if they tend to distract you, you may want to consider moving to a different area. Some things to also help you be successful. Introduce yourself to one or more classmates. Exchange contact information. This is really important, especially if you're going to be gone for one day. You might want to have somebody else in class that you can contact to see if you missed any information, or you can get notes from them. Inform your instructor before an absence. This is very important if you're attending a class in person. Try and let the instructor know if you're going to be absent, and if you can do any work beforehand, or if you can, to let them know just in case there's a quiz coming up and you missed it, and how you can make up that assignment. If you arrive late, slip in very quietly. If you're continuously late, again, please let the instructor know. Say you're traveling from Temecula or Northern County, or you hit traffic every morning and you end up getting to campus maybe 5-10 minutes a little late, or you have to drop off somebody before you come to campus and you tend to run a little late, let your instructor know what's going on. Make sure you ask questions and see your instructor during their office hours for more communication. This is really important. I want to come back to this. Many of you mentioned that an instructor or a teacher that was very positive for you was one that really you had a relationship with, or showed that they really cared or communicated with you. During an instructor's office hours, you have a chance to build a relationship with the instructor. Ask them about extended questions, talk to them about their career interests, your career interests. That's an opportunity to really start building a relationship that will help you do better in class. Get involved in campus life. We have a lot of opportunities on campus to get involved. I'm a co-advisor for the Honor Society, and we invite any and all students to attend our meetings. You don't have to be a part of the Honor Society. You can just show up and be a part of the organization just to get engaged and connect with other students. We have student government, athletics, student clubs, study abroad programs. We don't offer that here at Palomar, but if you transfer to a university, or if you attend some of the other community colleges, may have a study abroad program. Last words of wisdom. Be proactive. Get help as soon as you can. Visit professors during their office hours. Be aware of drop deadlines. In case you're not doing well in your class, you can have the opportunity to drop your class before it's too late. Take math as soon as you can. If you're coming out of high school, you have your English and math skills, so you want to jump on those and take English and math and get those out of the way as soon as possible. Study, take notes, attend class regularly. Engage in the classroom learning. Don't just sit there and wait for the time to pass. Be present, be awake, and try and engage in what you're learning in that class. We have great classes that help you with the career process. Our Counseling 165 or a career search class and career and life planning class or our career center are really helpful if you're really confused or having trouble with thinking about what are your next steps after graduation. And then see a counselor once per semester. We're always here to help you. Again, we want to talk to you about a variety of things, career interests, personal factors that might be impeding your success in school, your academics, all those factors that come into play as you are a student here at Palomar. So if you have any questions, again, please reach out to Dana and let me know.